Love in One Piece is something that has been explored on rare occasions, but it's true that with the Straw Hats, it hasn't been taken further, at least not yet. That's exactly what this video is about, who the final pairings for each of the Straw Hats might be. Today, I'm going to tell you who I think each one's partner will be. If you enjoy this kind of video, hit the like button and subscribe to help me reach 3,000 subscribers and achieve my dream. When it comes to Sanji, the Straw Hat Crew's hopeless romantic, his potential relationship with Pudding feels like the most natural fit. Throughout One Piece, Sanji has been portrayed as someone who easily falls head over heels for any attractive woman he meets. But with Pudding, things were different. Their bond during the Whole Cake Island arc showed genuine chemistry, especially considering how Pudding initially manipulated him, but later revealed her true feelings. Pudding's insecurities about her third eye were a central part of her character. She spent most of her life feeling rejected and ashamed because of it. Yet Sanji was one of the few people who complimented her third eye sincerely, calling it beautiful and making her feel accepted for the first time. That moment carried so much emotional weight that it hinted at something deeper between them, the kiss they shared. Although Sanji doesn't remember it due to Pudding using her devil fruit powers to erase his memory, was a bittersweet moment. It left fans wondering if their story might continue later in the series. It's possible that Oda could bring them back together, especially since Pudding's devil fruit could allow her to restore Sanji's memory of the kiss and their connection. While Pudding is currently younger than Sanji, the timeline of One Piece is fluid, and if a couple of years pass in the story, this could easily resolve itself. It's worth noting that she's the only woman so far in the series who has truly connected with Sanji on a deeper emotional level, making her a standout choice for his romantic future. Their relationship, if further developed, could become one of the most heartfelt and rewarding subplots in the series, adding a layer of personal growth to Sanji's character beyond his usual comedic antics. After all, what's more compelling than seeing a hopeless romantic finally finding someone who understands and loves him for who he is? Usopp's potential romantic future seems just as clear as Sanji's, with Kaya being the most logical and heartfelt choice. From the very beginning of One Piece, Kaya has been a significant figure in Usopp's life. She was one of the first people to believe in him, supporting him even when others dismissed him as a liar or a troublemaker. During the Syrup Village arc, their bond was established as more than just a friendship. Kaya admired Usopp's wild stories and infectious energy, and Usopp clearly cared deeply for her, even risking his life to protect her from Kuro's sinister plot. Since then, she has remained a background figure in the story, but her connection to Usopp hasn't been forgotten. In some cover stories and references, it's shown that Kaya continues to follow Usopp's journey and achievements, suggesting she still holds him in high regard. Fans of the live-action adaptation also noticed an interesting moment, a kiss between Usopp and Kaya. While it isn't canon to the manga, it does reflect a sentiment that many fans already share, that these two are meant to be together. If Oda supervised that scene, it could even hint at his own intentions for their future. What makes Usopp and Kaya's pairing so compelling is the idea of growth. Usopp started as a small-town dreamer, spinning tall tales of his bravery. Now he's living those stories as a true warrior of the sea. Imagine him returning to Syrup Village one day, sitting under that same tree where he once told exaggerated tales, and sharing his real adventures with Kaya feels like the perfect culmination of his character arc. It's not just about romance, it's about fulfillment and coming full circle. Kaya's gentle and caring nature also complements Usopp's energetic and imaginative personality. Together, they could build a future rooted in mutual respect and admiration, making them one of the most heartwarming potential couples among the Straw Hat crew. Robin and Frankie are one of the most popular ships among the Straw Hat crew, and it's easy to see why. They share a unique connection that has been subtly developed over the course of the series, making them a fan-favorite duo. While Oda has stated that romance isn't a major focus in One Piece, the interactions between these two characters often spark speculation. Their bond started to take shape during the Enies Lobby arc, where they both played pivotal roles in rescuing each other. Both were captured and faced dire circumstances, Frankie at the hands of CP9, and Robin under the threat of being erased from history. Their shared experiences created a foundation of mutual respect and understanding that feels deeper than the camaraderie shared among the rest of the crew. Throughout the series, small moments between Robin and Frankie have stood out. From lighthearted banter to moments of care and trust, their interactions often carry a subtle, affectionate tone. Oda has even hinted at their closeness in some color spreads, where Robin and Frankie are often depicted near each other, interacting in ways that suggest a bond beyond simple friendship. These details may seem minor, but in a story as meticulously crafted as One Piece, they rarely feel accidental. Their personalities complement each other as well. Robin's calm, intellectual demeanor balances Frankie's loud and eccentric personality, creating a dynamic that's both amusing and heartwarming. Additionally, both are among the more mature members of the crew, which makes them a natural pairing in terms of life experience and emotional depth. If Oda were to explore romance within the crew, Robin and Frankie would be an excellent choice. Their relationship feels organic, built on mutual respect and shared experiences. It's not hard to imagine them supporting each other as partners, combining Robin's quiet strength and wisdom with Frankie's boldness and creativity to form a truly powerful duo. Whether or not this ship becomes canon, it's already one of the most beloved by fans for all the right reasons. Brook is a unique case among the Straw Hat crew when it comes to relationships. As a living skeleton who has already experienced life, death, and a second chance, his character stands out in ways that make the idea of a traditional romantic pairing feel almost unnecessary. Instead, his strongest emotional connection is with Laboon, the giant whale waiting faithfully for his return. Brook's bond with Laboon goes beyond friendship. It's a promise that has defined much of his journey. Laboon's unwavering loyalty and Brook's determination to reunite with him create a deeply moving storyline that serves as a metaphor for love, loyalty, and the power of keeping one's promises. While this connection isn't romantic in the traditional sense, it's one of the most heartfelt relationships in One Piece. Brook's flirtatious nature and comedic attempts to ask women if he can see their panties are more of a running gag than a genuine pursuit of love. It's part of his playful personality and fits the whimsical tone of the series, but it doesn't suggest a deeper longing for a romantic partner. Instead, Brook seems content with his role as the crew's eccentric yet wise elder, bringing joy and music to everyone around him. What makes Brook's story so powerful is the idea that not everyone needs a romantic partner to feel fulfilled. His love for music, his devotion to his crew, and his promise to Laboon give his life purpose and meaning. If anything, his story is a reminder that love can take many forms, and the connections we make don't always have to fit conventional molds. Ultimately, Brook's ship isn't with another person, but with Laboon, symbolizing the enduring bonds of friendship and loyalty. It's a beautiful and fitting resolution for a character who has already experienced so much loss, yet remains full of hope and joy. In a way, Brook's journey is a testament to the idea that love, whether romantic or not, can transcend time, distance, and even death itself. Zoro's potential romantic future is one of the most debated topics among One Piece fans, and two main candidates often come up in discussions: Tashigi and Hiyori. Both characters have unique connections with Zoro, but their dynamics with him are quite different, leading to compelling arguments for either pairing. Tashigi, the marine swordswoman, has been linked to Zoro largely because of her striking resemblance to Quina, Zoro's childhood friend, and the person who inspired his dream of becoming the world's greatest swordsman. However, this resemblance is a double-edged sword. While some fans view it as a reason for a potential connection, it's also clear that Zoro feels uncomfortable around Tashigi because she reminds him so much of Quina. This discomfort could make it difficult for him to view her as anything other than a reminder of his past. That said, Tashigi's determination to become a better swordswoman and her sense of justice do resonate with Zoro's values. Over the series, there have been moments where Zoro shows concern for her, albeit in his own gruff way, and Tashigi seems to have a level of respect for Zoro's skill as a swordsman. If Oda were to develop this relationship further, it could revolve around Zoro helping Tashigi grow as a fighter while coming to terms with the similarities she shares with Quina. However, their conflicting roles as pirate and marine could also be a significant barrier. Hiyori, on the other hand, presents a more recent and arguably stronger case as a romantic interest for Zoro. During the Wano arc, Hiyori and Zoro shared several significant moments. After Zoro's intense battle with Killer, Hiyori cared for his injuries, showing a level of tenderness and admiration that hinted at a deeper connection. Her gratitude for Zoro's efforts to protect Wano and avenge her family further deepened this bond. Unlike Tashigi, Hiyori doesn't evoke any painful memories for Zoro. Instead, she represents a new chapter in his journey. Fans have speculated about a future where Zoro remains in Wano as a protector of the country, possibly serving as an aide to Momonosuke, the new shogun, while staying by Hiyori's side. This scenario aligns with Zoro's samurai-like demeanor and his connection to Wano's culture, particularly as a swordsman, which is more likely. While both options have merit, Hiyori feels like the more natural and emotionally fulfilling choice for Zoro. Her admiration for him and the way she openly cares for his well-being stand in stark contrast to the tension-filled interactions he has with Tashigi. Furthermore, Zoro's potential role as Wano's protector fits seamlessly with his character arc, and having Hiyori by his side would complement that narrative beautifully. Ultimately, Zoro's future, romantic or otherwise, will depend on how Oda chooses to resolve his story. Whether it's with Tashigi, Hiyori, or no one at all, Zoro's journey is rooted in his unwavering dedication to his dream, making any relationship a secondary focus to his goal of becoming the world's greatest swordsman. Chopper, the lovable reindeer doctor of the Straw Hat crew, has a surprisingly adorable potential love interest in Milky, the mink nurse introduced during the zoo arc. While Chopper often comes across as shy and childlike in social situations, his interactions with Milky revealed a side of him that fans rarely get to see. He was visibly flustered and smitten. Milky, a mink who shares Chopper's medical background as a nurse, showed an interest in him during their brief time together. Her kind and cheerful demeanor seemed to charm Chopper, who couldn't help but respond with hearts in his eyes. Their interactions were lighthearted and playful, but they also hinted at the possibility of a deeper connection, especially given their shared profession and mutual admiration. The pairing feels natural for a couple of reasons. First, both characters share a similar sense of compassion and dedication to helping others, which is a core part of their identities. This common ground creates the potential for a strong and meaningful bond. Second, as a mink, Milky's hybrid animal traits make her a more plausible match for Chopper compared to a human character, given the challenges of pairing him romantically with someone outside his species. However, there are also challenges to this pairing. Chopper's portrayal often leans into his innocent, childlike personality, which sometimes makes it hard to picture him in a romantic relationship. Additionally, Oda has not explored Chopper's personal growth in this area as much as he has with other characters, leaving Milky's potential as a love interest somewhat undeveloped. That said, if Oda were to revisit this connection in the future, Milky would be the most logical and heartwarming choice for Chopper. Their chemistry, though subtle, adds a charming layer to Chopper's character, and could serve as a sweet reminder that even the most unlikely characters can find someone who sees and appreciates them for who they truly are. Whether or not this pairing becomes canon, the moments between Chopper and Milky remain a delightful part of the story for fans to enjoy. When it comes to Luffy's romantic future, two characters often stand out as potential love interests: Boa Hancock and Margaret. While Luffy isn't the type of character to actively seek out or show interest in romance, the connections he's formed with these two characters are worth exploring. Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock is by far the most popular and logical choice for Luffy's potential partner. From the moment they met, Hancock has been head over heels in love with Luffy, captivated by his fearless and kind-hearted nature. Luffy, of course being Luffy, remains completely oblivious to her feelings, which only adds to the humor and charm of their dynamic. Hancock's devotion to Luffy is unmatched. She's willing to defy the world government, face enormous dangers, and even risk her position as the ruler of Amazon Lily for him. What makes their potential relationship so compelling is the idea that Hancock's love for Luffy could help soften her tough exterior, while Luffy's straightforward, honest nature could bring a sense of joy and simplicity to her life. If Oda were to make this pairing canon, it could follow a comedic yet heartfelt path, similar to how Goku and Chi-Chi's relationship was portrayed in Dragon Ball. A scenario where Hancock convinces Luffy to marry her by promising a grand banquet could fit perfectly within the world of One Piece. Over time, Luffy could grow to care for Hancock in his own way, leading to a relationship rooted in mutual respect and loyalty. Margaret, while Boa Hancock is the more obvious choice, Margaret, another character from Amazon Lily, offers an interesting alternative. Margaret was the first Amazonian to interact with Luffy, and their initial interactions were filled with kindness and camaraderie. She played a key role in helping Luffy during his time on Amazon Lily, and her straightforward and grounded personality complements Luffy's carefree nature. Unlike Hancock, Margaret doesn't idolize Luffy, but treats him as an equal, which could make for a different kind of relationship. The idea of Luffy ending up with someone like Margaret instead of the larger-than-life Hancock could create an unexpected and humorous twist, especially if Hancock were to react to such a development. What makes sense? Given Luffy's personality, it's important to note that romance is not a priority for him. His focus is on adventure, his friends, and achieving his dream of becoming the Pirate King. However, if Oda decides to explore this side of Luffy's character, Boa Hancock seems like the most fitting choice. Her deep feelings for Luffy and her willingness to change her life for him make her a natural partner. On the other hand, Margaret represents a quieter, more subtle connection that could also work well. Either way, any romantic storyline involving Luffy would likely remain lighthearted and secondary to the overarching plot, staying true to his character and the spirit of the series. Nami's potential romantic future is one of the trickiest to pin down among the Straw Hat crew. Unlike many of her crewmates, Nami has shown no clear romantic interest in anyone throughout the series. Her focus has always been on her goals, navigating the seas, protecting her friends, and achieving her dreams of mapping the world. This lack of romantic development has led fans to speculate and create their own interpretations, with two potential pairings often standing out: Vivi and Tashigi. Vivi-Nami and Vivi's relationship during the Alabasta Saga stands out as one of the strongest bonds Nami has formed with another character outside the Straw Hat crew. The two shared moments of trust, mutual admiration, and genuine care for one another. Vivi's role as a princess and Nami's resourceful, ambitious personality complement each other in a way that suggests they could have a meaningful partnership. If Nami and Vivi were to end up together, it would not only deepen their bond, but also create an intriguing dynamic. As the ruler of Arabasta, Vivi could offer Nami the wealth and security she often dreams about, while Nami could bring her cunning and intelligence to support Vivi in her duties. Imagining Nami as a co-ruler or advisor in Arabasta, living a life of luxury while staying true to her adventurous spirit feels like a fitting endgame for her character. Tashigi presents another possible pairing, though it's a bit more speculative. The brief interactions between Nami and Tashigi, particularly during the Punk Hazard arc, showcased a surprising level of trust and collaboration. Nami entrusted Tashigi with the safety of the kidnapped children, a decision that highlighted their mutual respect. While this connection isn't heavily developed, it's enough to spark the idea of a deeper relationship. Tashigi's determined and earnest nature could balance out Nami's more mischievous and calculating side, creating a dynamic of opposites attracting. Their shared goal of protecting others and fighting for justice, albeit in different ways, could also serve as common ground for a potential relationship. The case for independence. Ultimately, it's just as likely that Nami won't end up with anyone by the end of the series. Oda has often emphasized that One Piece is an adventure story, not a romance, and Nami's character has always been defined by her independence and drive. Her lack of interest in romantic relationships might reflect her prioritization of her goals and freedom over personal attachments. Still, the idea of Nami finding someone who understands and supports her, whether it's Vivi, Tashigi, or someone else entirely, adds an interesting layer to her character. If Oda were to explore this, it would likely be subtle and secondary to her story as an adventurer and navigator. Regardless of the outcome, Nami's journey is ultimately about her own growth, dreams, and the unbreakable bond she shares with her crew. Jinbe's potential romantic future is perhaps the most ambiguous among the Straw Hat crew. As one of the newest members of the crew and the eldest by far, Jinbe's character has been shaped more by his experiences as a warrior and leader than by any hints of personal relationships. Because of this, there isn't a clear or obvious pairing for Jinbe in the story so far. The lack of romantic development. Unlike many of the other Straw Hats, Jinbe has not been shown to have any romantic or flirtatious interactions with another character. This may be due to his age and maturity, as his story often focuses on themes like honor, duty, and sacrifice. Jinbe's role as a mentor-like figure, particularly to Luffy and the crew, positions him more as a guiding presence than a character whose arc might involve romantic development. Hints of a hidden past. That being said, Jinbe's history is still rich with potential for unexplored relationships. His time as a soldier of the Ryugu Kingdom and later as a captain of the Sun Pirates leaves room for the possibility of a past love or someone he deeply cared about. If Oda were to introduce a romantic element to Jinbe's story, it might come in the form of a long-lost connection or a character from his past who shares his values and experiences. For instance, his relationship with Queen Otohime was one of deep admiration, though it was strictly platonic. It's not hard to imagine that someone with a similar compassion and vision for peace might have captured Jinbe's heart in the past, or could in the future. The role of friendship. If romance isn't part of Jinbe's character arc, it doesn't diminish his ability to form meaningful connections. His bond with the Straw Hats, especially Luffy, is built on mutual respect and trust. Jinbe's focus on duty and loyalty might indicate that his love is directed toward the people and causes he protects, rather than a specific romantic partner. Speculation among fans. While Jinbe hasn't shown any romantic inclinations, some fans have speculated about potential pairings based on his interactions with other characters. For example, his teamwork with Robin during the Onigashima raid sparked lighthearted discussions about the possibility of a connection. However, this is more of a playful idea among fans rather than a serious consideration, especially given Robin's stronger association with Frankie. Conclusion. Jinbe's story isn't necessarily one that needs a romantic element. His character represents wisdom, resilience, and unwavering loyalty, qualities that resonate regardless of whether or not he ends up with a partner. If Oda decides to delve into this side of Jinbe, it would likely be tied to his past, or serve as a reflection of his values rather than a traditional love story. For now, Jinbe's legacy is defined by his role as a protector, a warrior, and an invaluable member of the Straw Hat crew. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Straw Hats pairings. Who would you match each one with?